My girlfriend wants me to get rid of my late wife's ashes. 35M, girlfriend, 31F. Little backstory. I married my high school sweetheart at the age of 25. Sadly, she passed away in a car accident 5 years later. We shared a passion for travel, so I had her ashes transformed into a diamond to accompany me on my adventures. Her ashes, along with both of our wedding rings, are on a chain that I carry in my pocket during my travels. It brings me comfort and helps me feel close to her. I will always love and miss her, but I know she would want me to find happiness and love again. I've been dating a new girl, Molly, for over a year now. I had dated casually a couple of years after my wife's passing, but it wasn't until I met Molly that I found true companionship again. Molly is wonderful and has been incredibly supportive and understanding about my late wife. She knows about the chain and never expressed any discomfort, though she didn't realize the stone was made from my wife's ashes. I used to keep the chain on my bedpost, but out of respect for Molly's feelings, I now keep it safely tucked away in a drawer. I still carry it with me when I travel. Molly and I have discussed moving in together once her lease ends in 2 months, which I'm thrilled about. I envision a future with her by my side. However, yesterday, while I was packing for a solo weekend trip to the East Coast, Molly noticed the chain and asked about another ring she saw, not my ex's or our wedding rings. I explained that it was a stone made from my late wife's ashes, and Molly was shocked. She couldn't believe I hadn't disclosed this earlier and found it unsettling. She gave me an ultimatum: either remove the stone, I could keep our wedding rings on the chain, but not the ashes, or she wouldn't move in with me. I suggested storing the stone in a drawer, but Molly insisted it had to be removed entirely. She refuses to live under the same roof as my late wife's remains and issued a stark choice: her or the stone. I don't know what to do. I don't want to lose Molly, but I also want to honor the memory of my late wife, especially since her relationship with her parents wasn't close enough for me to give them the stone. I can't simply discard it. I'm at a loss. I canceled my weekend trip. All I want now is to find a resolution with Molly. Edit. I keep thinking to myself that making this stone was totally crazy. Molly told me that no girl would ever be comfortable with it and that if I keep the stone, I will be living a lonely, miserable life. Women or men, would this be a deal breaker for you? Am I insane? Update. Wow, this totally blew up. I had no idea my story would get such a response. I was hoping for a comment or two, but this is crazy. This morning, I took the time to read what all of you wrote, and I'm hoping that Molly will settle for a safety deposit box or leaving it at my mom's. She's never had somebody she cares about pass away, and I think the thought of my wife's remains being in my house freaked her out. She's coming over tonight to talk. I will try to update you all soon. Thanks again for all the support and helping me to know that what I did with my wife's remains wasn't that insane. Edit. We met up on Saturday. There was a lot of dialogue between us, but I'm going to try to keep it short. I know many of you said to give Molly time to cool off, but I just couldn't spend my whole weekend knowing she was unhappy. I invited her over for dinner and spent the day cooking her favorite meal. I took the ring over to my mom's house, because I know having it in the house made her uncomfortable, and bought her some flowers. I really wanted to show her that she has no competition, that I love her. When she came over, the first thing she said was, "Is it still in the house?" When I assured her it's not, she came in and sat down. I started by apologizing, explaining that I never meant to lie to her or hurt her, but that I now realize I was lying by omission and it wasn't fair to her. I apologized again and said I hoped she didn't lose all the trust she had in me. I then told her how much I love her. I explained how much she means to me and how easily I could see myself spending my life with her. I went on and on about how happy she makes me, blah blah blah. She liked all this lovey apologetic talk and was smiling and holding my hand, telling me it's okay and that she loves me too. I then said, "It's time to talk about the ring," and she changed right before my eyes. She let go of my hand, and her happy face was replaced by one of anger. She said something along the lines of, "I thought you got rid of it." I told her that I never said that, I simply said it wasn't currently in the house. She got angry, but I asked her to listen to me before she said anything. I explained that when my wife died, I didn't have the heart to bury her, and having her remains around felt odd to me, so the ring seemed like the best option. At this point, she's crying with her face in her hands. I asked if she would be okay with me keeping it at my mom's place or in a safety deposit box. She's silent, then cries, "Why couldn't you just bury her like a normal person?" Now I'm crying, and I say that I'm sorry, that I respect my wife's memory, but I wish it didn't disrupt our relationship because I love you, Molly. Anyway, we cried. She said that she wishes the ring didn't bug her as much as it does, but that she's just not sure if she can be with me. She says making your wife a ring isn't what normal people do, and it's making her question my character. I asked her what she wants me to do with the ring, what her idea of a get rid of it is, hoping we could compromise. She said she doesn't know what I should do with it, she just wishes it never existed. She said she loves me, but she's just not sure about the relationship anymore. She told me she needs to think about it. She left without even eating her dinner. Sad face. I haven't heard from her since. I'm not quite sure what to do or what we are at this point. We have stuff at each other's places and both have keys. I love this girl and I don't want to easily give up on us. But I'm hesitant to reach out to her again. I'm thinking of giving it some time and hoping she reaches out to me. I don't know. The thought of losing Molly breaks my heart. Edit 2. I want to add that I really don't think this is about being insecure or jealous of my wife. I really think Molly is freaked out by the fact that I had my wife cremated and turned into a stone. I think even if I had her in an urn, Molly would still be freaked out. Molly hasn't had any experience with death, but I think she was raised with the idea that when somebody dies, they go into the ground. The fact that my wife isn't buried somewhere freaks her out. Final update. Last night, I came home from work to find a framed photo from my wedding hanging on the wall with the chain dangling around it. There was also a 5-page note from Molly on the coffee table. I'm not going to type the whole note because a lot of it was very personal to Molly. However, I will say that there was a lot of apologizing on her part. She told me that she thought a lot about the ring and even did some Googling and realized that it's not all that uncommon. She said she was completely embarrassed by her reaction and that she was uncomfortable with the thought of being around anybody's remains. She called herself disrespectful, childish, and pathetic. Sad face. Molly also said that what I did was a beautiful thing and shows what a sensitive and loving man I am. She said she wants to be with me more than anything and doesn't want to change a thing about our tradition, taking the ring traveling. She told me she now sees that it's a lovely idea and said my wife was lucky to have me and my family. That she, as well, is lucky to now be a part of my and my family's life. She concluded by saying that she felt as though we had a good connection and handled conflict well. She said she hopes that I know her well enough to know that this isn't the way she typically reacts. I do. She also told me she was going to get therapy, as she is worried about what will happen once somebody she knows dies. The last part of her note said that she left a surprise in my fridge, a 6-pack of my favorite beer, and that she'd love to enjoy them with me if I'll have her. She told me to take all the time I need before calling her and that she hopes someday I'll forgive her for her actions. I called her immediately. We talked and she pretty much repeated what she said in her note. I repeated what I said at dinner, that she is my number one, and that I am so sorry for lying about the ring. We have plans to see each other tomorrow night. I love the photo of me and my wife. I don't have many photos of us and none that are framed. The chain looks perfect around it, and it's a nice little memorial to have in my home. I love the idea of starting a new home with Molly while still having my wife's memory be a part of it. I know this is not what many of you wanted to read. You wanted me to kick Molly to the curb. However, I think that a year of good actions makes up for one bad action. Her apology was genuine, and I really do feel as though this won't happen again. If she tries to control something like this again, and I can't resolve it, I guess I know where to post. I can't thank you all enough. Edit. I was expecting you all to be disappointed in me, and yet the first comments are saying how happy you are for me. Thanks again, Reddit.